our second contestant, Adam. How are you? And the title of his speech is Weirdo in the Bathroom. Weirdo in the Bathroom. Adam, how are you?
I'm here today to warn you about the weirdo in the bathroom. They can be anywhere at any time. They can look like you or me. So take this as a cautionary tale about my experience with the weirdo in the bathroom. Travel back with me in time, all the way to spring 2015. Wiz Khalifa was topping the musical charts. Ashley Madison users were still married, although unhappily. And a power-hungry Yang Jiang was preparing to take over the presidency of the Royal Frontiers Toastmasters. The location of this incident was Edmonton, Alberta. I was there for a real estate conference where the greatest and brightest minds in my industry meet for 3 days to get drunk. I was at a reception on the closing night, and a colleague of mine came up and said, "Words I'd love to hear." He said, "You want to go to the casino and play some poker?" I rubbed my hands together gleefully, cocked my eyebrow, and said, "Oh, poker, you'll have to teach me how to play that game." As soon as we got to the casino, we got straight down to business. My colleague wanted to play the lowest stakes games, which is fine by me because it attracts the lowest stakes players. It also allows me to break one of my cardinal rules when not drinking and playing, because as I said, it only requires half a brain. I got into a great routine of sipping and playing when I felt nature's call. I looked around the room and spotted the familiar men symbol. Of course, for those of you who don't know, that's the symbol you see in the bathroom door. And headed that way. As soon as I stood up, I noticed that the pressure was getting worse, so I picked up the pace. By the time I crossed the casino floor, I picked up a good head of steam. Came up to the door, straight-armed it open, walked in, saw the urinal. Fantastic. I got no more than 2 steps in when I noticed something very wrong. It was very, very wrong. There was a man in plain sight, perched on a toilet seat, pants around his ankles, just staring at me. My brain was stunned. Why was he not doing this privately? Was he on drugs or off his meds? Could this perhaps even be a weird sexual thing for him? While my brain was stunned, my feet were not, and they propelled me forward towards the urinal. My brain trying to process or assimilate what was going on here. And I'll admit that the process was a little slower because I had some drinks as I mentioned. I began relieving myself and took a better handle, a better grasp of my surroundings. I noticed that the room I was in was incredibly small. I looked over my right shoulder and saw a large lock on the inside of the door. And that's when it occurred to me that this was in fact a private bathroom meant for one person at a time and not the 2 that were now inhabiting it. The weirdo was just a guy that forgot to lock the door, which fully explained the look he was giving me out of a deer in headlights. So they say that a photo is worth 1,000 words, and 1,000 words is about 7 minutes of a speech, so I'll save everybody some time. In front of you, there's a piece of paper marked "Do Not Turn Over," and I appreciate everybody acknowledging that request. This is a photo that I snapped the evening of the incident on a later subsequent trip to the bathroom. And I want you to flip it over and notice how close we were together. I literally could have reached out and touched his knee, and I suspect that he thought I was about to. So now I'm standing there midstream, trapped with my husband, and I don't know what to do. This is the moment, like you, I got the urge to giggle or laugh, and I'm trying to suppress it, but one slipped out. And as soon as one slipped out, many more followed, until I was howling with laughter. And I was howling with laughter while I was washing my hands, and I laughed and laughed while I walked out the front door. I get back to the table, still smirking. My colleague who was sitting there asked why, and I wanted to tell him, because I'm bursting with the craziness of the story, but I don't want to explain in front of a table full of poker players that I'm the guy that likes to burst in on other poker players while they're in the bathrooms. So what I did instead was I texted it to my wife, because I had to relieve the urge to tell someone. So I typed out a very long description of the entire incident, fired it off to her. Her quick response was, "Aren't you on a work trip?" It was a valid question while I'm texting her drunk from the casino, but she did eventually find it funny. The next day, I reread my text, and I had a moment of empathy for the gentleman that I'd encountered. Had he texted his wife his account of what had happened? And how different would it be from my version of events? "Honey, I'm lucky to be alive. Some lunatic burst in the bathroom while I was sitting there minding my own business. He stared at me, said nothing, then began howling with laughter. I have to wonder if that was some sort of weird sexual thing for him." From his perspective, I'm the crazy one. And looking back, I definitely have to agree with that analysis. It's a tough day when you realize that you are, in fact, the weirdo in the bathroom. I hope you've enjoyed my story that was both literally and figuratively bathroom humor. And I did warn you to start that weirdos can be anywhere at any time, and they can even look like me. After all, you let this weirdo into your club.